Hello and namaste. Welcome to Image News. I'm Gaurav. Let's begin with the headlines. President Yadav declares Nepal's Constitution 2072 BS belief afloat among people for peace, stability and prosperity. Demonstrations and strikes against Constitution continue in Terai districts. One killed in police firing in Birganj. Austria sees fresh influx of 10,000 migrants. EU nations reel under confusion on handling migrant crisis. Nepal suffers loss to Oman in its last match in AFC Under-16 football qualifiers. Hopes to feature in finals in India from runners-up playoffs. The news in detail. Nepal's Constitution 2072 BS has been promulgated amid a grand ceremony today. The country's new constitution was declared by President Dr. Rambaran Yadav at 5:55 p.m. at a special program held at the Constituent Assembly. The whole process of constitution making concluded today after the president stated that he declared in witness of Nepali people that Nepal's constitution endorsed by the Constituent Assembly and authenticated by the CHA would come into effect from September 20, 2015 and signed the constitution, which then bore the stamp of the president's office.
संविधान सभा का सम्मानित अध्यक्ष द्वारा प्रमाणित भई प्रस्तुत नेपाल को संविधान असोज 3 गतेदेखि प्रारम्भ भएको नेपाली जनता समक्ष घोषणा गर्दछु।
The new constitution that consists of 37 parts, 308 articles and 9 annexes is the form of the country's extensive supreme law in Nepal's constitutional history. The National Charter was endorsed by the CHA on September 16 and authenticated by Constituent Assembly on September 16 and authenticated by CHA last Friday. The Constituent Assembly has now automatically dissolved with the promulgation of the Constitution, while the elected House has transformed into a parliament. The elected representatives will now play the role of parliamentarians for the remaining term. However, given a general election is held prior to the expiry of the parliament's term, the parliamentarians will hold their designations until a day before the nomination of candidates. Nearly 3,000 people from various sectors were present at the Constitution Declaration ceremony today. Participants included leaders of political parties, chiefs of constitutional bodies, high-level officials of security bodies, envoys of diplomatic missions, former parliamentarians, entrepreneurs, media persons and general public. Majority of the lawmakers of the CA had put on their traditional costumes while attending a special program today. People in pose carrying national flags had gathered outside the CA Hall hours before the declaration.
बनाएको नेपालको संविधान जारी भएको घोषणा गर्ने घोषणा त गरिसके त घोषणा गर्ने यो ऐतिहासिक अवसरमा म सम्पूर्ण नेपाली दिदी बहिनी तथा दाजुभाइहरूलाई हार्दिक बधाई र शुभकामना व्यक्त गर्दछु।
The premises of the venue were adorned with special decorations, while security was heightened to a 3-tier rung for the occasion. President Dr. Rambaran Yadav has said the popular demand has been realized with the promulgation of the Constitution of Nepal 2072.
राज्य शक्तिको स्रोत जनतामा मात्र हुन् भन्ने मान्यता पनि क्रममा अझ फराकिलो र विकसित हुँदै जानेछन्।
Addressing the Constituent Assembly following the promulgation of the Constitution, President Yadav expressed belief that the Constitution would strengthen unity in the nation and protect national sovereignty, unity and geographical integrity.
र न्यायपूर्ण यस अवसरमा लोकतान्त्रिक आन्दोलनका आदरणीय शहीद सहयात्री जनता र जननायकहरूप्रति सम्मान प्रकट गर्दछु।
Saying that the federal democratic republicanism had been institutionalized in the country, he added that the public were established as the source of sovereignty. He opined that topics of proportionate and inclusive representation and participation were to further develop in the process of implementation of the Constitution. President Yadav also expressed belief of establishment of the long-term peace, political stability and economic prosperity. Appealing to the people in the Tarai Madhesh region to utilize the achievements, he added that the Constitution was a progressive document and dissatisfaction could be addressed in the days to come. Meanwhile, the three major political parties are to organize various programs in a joint manner to mark the promulgation of the Constitution. Organizing a joint press conference at CPN-UML's headquarters in Thumbarai, General Secretaries of Nepali Congress, CPN-UML and Unified CPN Maoist informed about the programs to be organized. The parties informed that mass gatherings would be held across the nation, including the capital, to update the general public about the highlights of the Constitution. It was informed at the press conference that rallies from various locations in Kathmandu would be organized that will merge at the open-air theatre in the form of an assembly which will be addressed by senior leaders of the three major parties. It was also informed that Prime Minister Sushil Koirala will host a tea ceremony at Singhadarbar tomorrow, while CPN-UML will organize a tea party at Dashrath Stadium on September 22. Saying Nepali citizens were successful in writing a constitution through their own representatives, general secretaries of all three parties suggested everyone to participate in the programs. Saying they were ready to make amendments on the loopholes of the new constitution, they also appealed to the discontent parties to participate in dialogue. Meanwhile, one person was killed in Birganj, Maisthan today during clash between security personnel and protesters who hit the streets, saying the demands had not been addressed in the new constitution. The deceased has been identified as Shatrughan Patel of Parsa. 13 others were injured in the standoff. The clash is said to have occurred when protesters tried to defy curfew orders. Elsewhere, cadres of Madheshi Front held demonstration against the constitution in Rautarhat as well, marking the day of promulgation of the constitution as a black day. Meanwhile, the strikes called by CPN Maoist parties led by Mohan Vaidya and Netra Bikram Chand affected life in some districts of the country. The districts affected by the strikes include Sinduli, Dhading, Chitwan, Tanahu, Kanchanpur, Sunsari and Morang, among others. Protest programs were also carried out in various districts of the Tarai region. 7 strike forces were injured in course of the altercation with locals in Banganga municipality and Kapilvastu. The injured were taken to Lumbini Zonal Hospital for treatment. Agitators carrying black flags marched on a rally in Janakpur as well, saying a constitution that did not ensure the rights of the Madheshi people would not be acceptable to them. Police have arrested 35 strike forces from different places in Pokhara as well. Agitators set ablaze a truck heading to Kathmandu from Pokhara at Khasikua in Tanahu and a motorcycle at Balrampur in Dang. A bomb exploded last night at a temporary police post also in Dang. In the eastern region of the country, the federal Limbuwan party has called strikes in all 9 districts of Arun East. Separate demonstrations were held by cadres of the Madheshi Front and Tharuat Struggle Committee in Parasi and Kawasoti in Nawalparasi. Meanwhile, in the capital, 3 bombs found in Mahalakshmistan and Pulchok in Lalitpur and Rabi Bhavan in Kathmandu were defused by the bomb disposal unit of the army. Police informed that pamphlets of CPN Maoist were found at the sites. Protesters have also set fire to the house of Nepali Congress lawmaker Sita Devi Yadav at the headquarters of Siraha. A group of protesters were involved in the arson. Lawmaker Yadav is from Siraha constituency number 3. Likewise, protesters have also set ablaze 2 motorcycles. And with that, let's take a short break. In international news, Austria saw its arrival at least 10,000 migrants on Saturday amid bitter rows among EU nations on how to handle the growing crisis. The migrants had been sent from Croatia into Hungary, which in turn shipped them on to Austria. Hungary accused Croatia of breaking the rules by failing to register the migrants. Meanwhile, 26 migrants are missing after their boat sank off Greece. Coast Guards managed to rescue 20 people, but were told the boat had been carrying 46 people when it sank off the Greek island of Lesbos. Separately, a search is continuing for 13 people still missing after their boat sank in the same waters on Saturday, killing a 5-year-old girl. Towards the sports front, Nepal has suffered a loss to Oman at the scoreline of 3-1 in its last match of the ongoing AFC Under-16 Football Championship qualifiers in Kyrgyzstan. Behind by 2 goals till the half-time interval, Nepal tried to make a comeback in the 89th minute of the match with a goal from Prejen Tamang, the effort which was foiled by Oman with its 3rd goal in the injury time. The Nepali youth team had displayed noteworthy performances in its previous 2 matches, beating Asian powerhouse Jordan 2-1 and host Kyrgyzstan 4-2 in its consecutive matches. However, today's loss puts Nepal behind Oman in the standings on the basis of goal difference. Given there is favorable outcome from today's match between Jordan and Kyrgyzstan and Nepal secures the 2nd spot in the group, it will have to vie in matches between the runner-up teams and come out with successful results to feature in the finals to be held in India next year. 45 Asian countries playing in selections have been divided into 11 groups for the finals to be held in India. Winners of each group, 4 best runners-up and organizers India will be fielding their players in the AFC Under-16 Championship football. Nepali ultra-marathon runner Mira Rai has secured 2nd position at the world-famous Salomon Pernau ultra-marathon that concluded in Spain. Rai completed the 110-kilometer high-altitude mountain race in 13 hours 43 minutes and 49 seconds on Saturday. Winner of the tournament, Swiss Emily Forsberg, clocked the distance in 13 hours 39 minutes and 33 seconds, only 4 minutes prior to Rai. This is the first time a Nepali athlete has won a medal in the tournament. Rai had previously won the Ultra Trail du Mont Blanc in France 2 months ago. She is a former Maoist combatant turned athlete after being disqualified for authentication. And before we leave, the headlines once more. President Yadav declares Nepal's Constitution 2072 BS, belief afloat among people for peace, stability and prosperity. Demonstrations and strikes against Constitution continue in Terai districts, 1 killed in police firing in Birganj. Austria sees fresh influx of 10,000 migrants. EU nations reel under confusion on handling migrant crisis. Nepal suffers loss to Oman in its last match in AFC Under-16 football qualifiers. Hopes to feature in finals in India from runners-up playoffs. And that's all for this edition of Image News. You can also read, listen and view our news at our website imagecover.com. Thanks for staying with us. Good night.